Hello, getting this video posted a little bit later than I would like, but still wanted to get it for you so that you would have it and some of the resources, whether you're one of the teachers or a parent, just some things to be talking about with this week's Fighterverse. It is 1 Peter 5, 6 through 8, and one of the things that I put down in the teacher's notes was you can talk a lot about crawling and throwing and do some activities with those actions. And thinking about that, the verse begins with humble yourselves before God, and thinking of that idea of humbling yourself, bring yourself low. And one of the activities that the curriculum talks about is playing limbo and talking about how do you win at limbo. It's the lower you go. Another thing is in verse 7, which the beginning of verse 6 and the beginning of verse 7 are the verses for the little kids. Verse 7 talks about casting all your anxieties or all your worries. And that idea of casting is throwing them to God because He loves you. And thinking of that idea of casting, the idea of casting a net from a boat into the sea, like the fishermen in the Bible did, or even today the example of fishing and fishing pole and casting your hook and your bait out away from you, but that idea of throwing your worries and your concerns from yourself to God, and knowing that He will take care of you. So that's kind of that idea there. So the idea of throwing and casting. Another thing that's very evident throughout, and I put some of this in the teacher's notes, and you might have some other ideas too, is looking at that idea of humbly coming before God, and casting our worries upon Him and not fearing. The idea of the Old Testament having a lot of verses to talk about that, and talking about the fact that the Lord is a strong tower, that we don't need to be afraid. The Lord is a light and we don't need to be afraid. Just a lot of those images on why we don't need to be afraid. In the midst of darkness, God is light. In the midst of struggles and battles, God is a stronghold. He's a fort, a place of safety that we could run to. So just even using those with the kids if you need to. I also just want to encourage you to be continuing to think upon, meditate upon the fighter verses. I am sharing an article with the adults called Read and Meditate. It's the idea of sometimes we need to read less and think more about what we're reading. So if you take 10 minutes of Bible reading usually and you don't think about it at all, maybe consider taking 5 minutes to read and 5 minutes to think and pray about the things that you're learning, and then just the importance of taking your time to do that. The couple of other things that I want to just let you know about in the sense of looking ahead. Next week, the fighter verse is verses 9 and 10 of the same passage. So it just continues on with 1 Peter 5. And so you can kind of think about that as you're preparing this week, but also thinking ahead to next week. The other thing to note is that in July, the 2-year-olds through the 5th graders will be in one combined class with their parents, and I'll be teaching that. So I want to let you know you are free to join that class. I'd even encourage you to think about coming down one or more of the weeks, just to connect with parents and things like that are there. You're also welcome to attend the adult class up in the chapel. I know some of you haven't been in an adult class for a while, and just want to let you know, even in taking this month, I've wanted it to be a time to train parents, but I also wanted it to be a time where you have just 4 weeks of rest and relaxation, and being able to enjoy being taught during the Sunday school hour, because I know it's a lot of work to be teaching, and I appreciate the effort that all of you put into that. So thank you all very much for all of your work in teaching, in training the kids, and helping them to fight sin, even as we do this study, but not just this study this summer, but all of the work that you've done throughout the months and the years. So thank you very much, and have a good rest of the day.